Okay, hello everyone. This is Noreen and I'm your lifestyle design girl. So if you want to know more about creating routines, being productive, being organized, and everything in between about being a mom, this is a place for you. So please do consider to subscribe. I will have lots of content in store for you, but for now, I'm just gonna build up all my free courses and throw it in. Can you hear the background sound? Okay, so like I said, for now I am just going to build up my free courses and put it up on my YouTube channel. So please do consider to subscribe because I have lots and lots of other contents for you. All right, let's go. This is the second video that I'm filming. If y'all have not watched the first video, please do so. I show you my full video tutorial, which I guide you step by step on how to create your own routine that actually works for me and some of my clients that have been using the strategy that I have come up with. So in this video, I want to share with you this time on how to build a routine for your child. This is like a package for you. On the first video, I've showed you how to create a routine for yourself, and this time round, I'm gonna show you how to build a routine for your kids. So in case if y'all don't know, which I'm sure most of you are not, I am an ex-educator. I've learned early childhood for about 7 years. It's a pretty decent amount of time for me to gain experience and knowledge on how to build a routine for your child. Okay, and I have been a single mom. I've went through parenting alone. So if you all want to know about building a routine for your child and how to create a positive environment at home for your child, I'm your girl. Okay, so keep on watching because I'm not gonna waste so much time. We'll just jump right into the course. Okay, it's totally free. Worksheets will be provided to you and it will be free as well. So let's go. Okay, welcome to this session. This session is going to be slightly different because you can see my face as I just decided to try to use Zoom to conduct this lesson. All right, so if you're listening, okay, hi, I hope you can hear me clearly. And in this session, we are going to talk about how to create a productive routine, not for ourselves, but for our child. All right. Now, this is the agenda for today. And we are going to touch on, firstly, we are going to touch on the mistakes that moms make during parenting. And then we are going to emphasize on the importance of having a responsive relationship. This has been discussed in our previous session about responsive relationship. All right. And then we are going to have a quick recap on what is the responsive relationship formula. And then we will then touch on the importance of a productive routine and what creates a productive routine. All right. And lastly, we are going to discuss on how you can create a productive routine for your child. Okay, so this is the objectives for today. At the end of this session, I want you to be more aware of the mistakes that most moms do when it comes to parenting. And I want you to get rid of the mistakes, try to avoid as much as possible of the mistakes that most moms do when it comes to parenting. Understand why responsive relationship is important and the 3 components that create a productive routine and why they are important. Okay, and the goal of this session is for you to finally curate a routine on your own that works for your child through my step-by-step method. All right. Okay, so let's start with the mistakes that most moms make during parenting that they think they are doing it right. The first one is saving their child from failures. Now, I know that it is difficult for you to see your child is struggling to complete a task, say for example, they are struggling to put on their own shoes, or they're struggling to fix this toy that she has been trying to fix but just couldn't get to. Okay, I know you don't have the heart to see that they are actually struggling, but I want you to look at it this way. If your child happens to go to school and they come back with a homework, all right, and you happen to check their homework, and then you found out that their homework, there was a mistake in their homework, right? What will you do? Will you give them the answers? It will only backfire them, right? Because if you give them the answers to their homework, to the questions, right? And when they go back to school and the teacher asks them, how do you get the answer? They'll be like, what? Right? So take it that way, okay? You want them to get their own answers, and you want them to develop their own problem solving skills, right? So you back away for a bit, let them do the work, let them make their own decisions, do their own problem solving, just to complete the task. Although the task may look very easy for us, but don't make that as an excuse for you to, let them finish the certain task that they are struggling with. All right. Okay, the second thing is showing off their child's feeling. Now, what do I mean by this? All right. Showing off their child's feeling. For example, when your child is feeling upset or feeling angry, you don't want to say, it's not a big deal, or, don't be sad about it. Instead, you want to acknowledge their feelings and you want to ask what happened and let them reason out, let them express out their feelings. Because like I mentioned in our previous session, okay, these big feelings can be scary for a toddler. So you wouldn't want to make them even more afraid of what they're feeling right now, right? Remember, you're there for them as a comfort. You are their safe space, all right? Now, the third thing is over giving their child what he or she wants. Now, it feels good, the fact that you see your child is being happy, getting what they want, and spending more. You don't mind spending more for your child because you want to see your child feels happy, right? Or maybe you just want to avoid that cranky phase that they'll be going through if you tell them no. I'm not only touching about money, but based on our daily activities. Okay, let's say for example, right? You don't want to overgive your child what he or she wants. For example, mommy, I want iPad. So what do? Do you still want to give the iPad? I doubt so, right? So but the thing is, you're scared that your child may throw the tantrum or your child may feel upset, and you have to deal with another episode of this drama queen thing, right? And that's the reason why you give the iPad to them. What they are missing out on is actually, if you give what they want, they are not going to help their child's mental strength, such as self-discipline. Okay, they won't be able to learn that you need to work on it to achieve what they want. So in order for them to work what they want, you have to set a clear rules, right? You have to set a clear rules and boundaries. For example, screen times for like half an hour or 1 hour, or complete your homework and then you can have your screen time, right? So the fourth one is always want perfection. Okay, this is something that is, I find that it's very important in order for you to become a working mom. Okay, perfection is a no-no, right? Perfection is a no-no. What do I mean by perfection? You want everything to go your way. You want it to be very clean. You want it to be all in order, right? But instead, you have to think. You are a working mom and you're a wife, and you have to take care of the house. You have to do the cooking. You have to to settle the kids, right? So perfection is definitely a no-no. Okay, so what you can do instead is it's better to get done than having it being perfect. Okay, so if you want to delegate your house chores to the children, to your child, okay, you may want them to help with their house chores. A simple house chores like wiping the table, it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as they get the idea that house chores should not only be done by moms, but it should be delegated to all the family members. All right, so now the next one is, we're going to touch on the fifth one. Okay, making sure their child always feels comfortable. I have a quote, all right? And my quote is, okay, it's not really a quote, but my belief is, in order for you to grow, you have to be uncomfortable, right? And it applies the same when you are taking care of your child. Okay, your child do not always have to feel comfortable. Okay, if they want this food, they have to eat this food for the rest of the year, for during their lunchtime, right? You don't want that to happen, right? So instead of that, you give a variety of foods like the greens, some fruits that they have not tried before. Okay, you want to give them the exposure. Being uncomfortable is a good sign. Okay, it shows that they are trying to explore, they are having new and good experiences from you. Okay, just like us progressing in a career. Okay, to start off that goal is not easy. Okay, and this is where, again, we have to step in and help them to try new things, like trying new sports, trying new foods, like I mentioned just now, trying new activities, new music instruments, give them all the exposure. Okay, you don't want them to be very narrow to one thing. All right, you want them to grow, and in order for them to grow, they have to be uncomfortable, right? And then another thing is not setting parent-child boundaries. Okay, I know I've mentioned about giving your child the opportunity to make their own decisions for themselves, right? But they also need to know that you are the boss. If you want to let them know that you're the boss, you have to create that basic rules for them. Okay, for example, if you say their bedtime is at 9 p.m., right? Make sure they don't have to negotiate with you and say, oh, maybe 9:30 or no, 10 p.m. This is where you are going to struggle with your power as a mom. Okay? Now, after all the mistakes that I have already mentioned here, now you must be asking, Noreen, then how am I going to, get rid of all these mistakes? I'm guilty myself. So how am I going to get rid of all these mistakes that I'm doing as a parent? Right. It all comes down to responsive relationship. Okay. This was already touched on our previous session, so I'm just gonna touch a little bit here so that you can get a better understanding and how it contributes and how this session contributes to responsive relationship. All right. So now we are going to discuss on the importance of responsive relationship. Okay, when you have a responsive relationship between yourself as a mom and your child, okay, you are going to have a healthier relationships. So the next thing is you are going to have a mutual respect between yourself and them. And you can set a positive example for their children as they grow older. Remember, you are the role model. You are the first teacher in their eye. Okay, they're going to see how you're behaving towards them. They're going to see how you interact with them. And that creates the responsive relationship that I was referring to. Okay. And another last one is gaining confidence, not only to the children, but also for you as a mom. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because when you have a responsive relationship between yourself and your child, you're going to have a boundary. Okay. You have already set the rules. You have already create the boundaries with your child, and you already know what to expect from your child, and you know how to attend to their different episodes. Right? So
Remember this. We have quality interactions, yes space, and productive routine. Together, these three components combine to become a responsive relationships, right? So we have already touched on the quality interactions. Now we are going to move to productive routine. And how does this contribute to responsive relationship? Right? So having a productive routine allows parents to invest in one-to-one time with their children by providing positive attentions and emotional connection. Right? When you sit down with your child one-to-one, you are able to have that connection, okay, by providing a quality interaction. When you are conducting activity with them, when you're playing toys with them, right? And the second thing is children can fix their body clock by getting to bed early and fixing nap time in between their routines to avoid becoming cranky, overtired, and irritated throughout the whole day. Okay, and parents do not have to feel stressed when it comes to challenging times such as before and after school. Children are aware that mothers are not the only one that is going to contribute to the house chores, but instead everyone in the family will have to contribute it. Okay, and also another one is developing independent learning and encouraging problem solving skills in your child. The last one is to allow children to predict their next event by familiarizing with their routine and developing their confidence skills. Okay? Now, how are we going to curate a productive routine for your child? Now, I'm going to introduce my framework, and this is called RHA framework. Okay, RHA stands for routine, habits, and activities. Routine are those daily non-negotiable tasks. Okay, these are the tasks that you cannot avoid every day. Okay, for example, like shower, nap, breakfast, lunch, dinner, diaper changing. All right, I put nap as non-negotiable tasks because they have to nap in the afternoon. Okay, just to avoid being cranky, overtired, and irritated throughout the rest of the day. All right, they need their rest too. And then when I talk about habits, I'm talking about good habits, okay? For example, wiping the table after meals, watering the plants, returning toys to their respective trays. All these habits will eventually help them to be more confident because they are able to do it on their own without our guidance, okay? And they are able to be more independent and self-disciplined in a way where they have already picked up all these good habits in their daily life that they do not need us to keep on reminding them to do these things. And the next one is activities. Now, learning activities can be various kind of activities. It could include outdoor activities, choice of play, art activities, learning traits, manipulatives, and role playing. Okay, there are many more. Okay, these are just some of the examples that I myself have been doing with my kids. Okay. Now, the question is, how do we create a productive routine for your child? Now, before we move on to the next session, I want you to prepare the worksheet provided if you're at the stage of reading through your slides right now. Okay, now let's start with the first step, and that is to start with your child's weekends routine. Now, why do I say weekends routine? That's because over the weekends, your child is not schooling or in childcare. So they'll most probably be at home the whole time with you, right? So let's just start off with the weekends routine first. Okay. And I forgot to mention to you that we may not have one routine. Okay, we may have different sets of routine because your child may be going through childcare or schooling. Okay, but that we will talk about it later. So now let's just focus on the weekends routine. And then the second step is for you to list down your child's routine activities. And when I mean by this, I'm talking about the non-negotiable tasks. Okay, what are the non-negotiable tasks that your child is required to do every day? Okay, and decide when you want this to happen. I'm going to show you an example. Okay, it looks a bit blurry, but I hope you can see where I'm coming from, all right? So now let's title this your child's name, weekend schedule. Okay, so my non-negotiable task for my children is definitely they have to wake up, and then let's look at Maya's timetable. Okay, because both my kids have different timetable. Okay, I'm gonna look at Maya's one. Okay, so what's going to happen is by 7, she'll usually be waking up, okay? And my non-negotiable task for her and her non-negotiable task is for her to have the milk time right after she wakes up. And then she will have her breakfast, and then she will shower right after. Okay, that's going to happen back to back at 7 to 8. And then at 12 p.m., there's going to be some gaps, but it's okay. We are trying to list down the non-negotiable tasks first. You might want to leave some gaps for the rest of the steps. All right. You don't want to jam pack it with so many non-negotiable tasks, because I don't think that's going to happen. All right. Back to this. 12 p.m., we're going to have lunchtime. Okay, and before her nap time, she is going to do her toileting. She's gonna do her business in the toilet. Okay, do whatever she needs to do. And then by 3 p.m., she's gonna have a snack time right after she wakes up. And then at 6 p.m. is where we are gonna have dinner. And then she's gonna shower. And by 8, she should be having her bedtime. All right, that's for her non-negotiable tasks. Moving on to the next step, we are going to list down your child's learning activities that you would like him or her to have, and when will it happen. Now let's take a look at Maya's one again, okay? So remember there are some gaps in our previous slides, right? So I am going to fill this up all with the learning activities, okay? So let's take a look at the amended one. Okay, the gaps that I filled up is between 9 to 11. Okay, 9, we're going to have structured activities. What do I mean by structured activities? It's those activities where I have to sit down and I have to teach her how to complete the task. Okay, it could be learning letters or learning about numbers 1 to 5. Yeah, this is structured activities where you are required to be there to guide your child to complete the activity. Okay, and then moving on to 10 o'clock. Okay, because 10 o'clock I have to start cooking, and this is where she will have an independent play on her learning corner. Okay, we have a designated learning space where I will fill up all the trays with all the learning activities. Okay, where she will learn about practical skills, or she will learn about numeracy, or she will learn about a language. And I do not require to be there for her when she's doing the learning trays. Okay, because that's there for her to pick and choose whatever she wants to do. Okay, and make sure she have to complete it and then return it back to the shelf, and then she will take another tray. So that's what's going to happen at 10. All right, and at 11 a.m. is where I'm already done with my cooking, and I will bring the kids down for an outdoor activity. Okay, so 12 to 3 is our routine, and then back to 4 p.m. Okay, after her snack time, she's going to have a choice of play, meaning she is going to choose whatever toys that she wants to play. Okay, most of the time she'll be doing cooking. Okay, but 5 p.m. is where I will sit down with her again and have family time with her. Okay, usually me and Yazid will be sitting down with her and her sister, okay, to have family time together. And usually at this point of time, we will join in whatever they are playing or during that time, or we will have some board games, just to have that family time together. Okay, and then at 6 p.m., dinner time, shower. Okay, and then at 7 p.m., because this is the part where I have to shower and I have to pray, so I need that time for myself. Okay, so this is where I need to, at the same time, after their shower is usually their unwind period. Okay, so during their unwind period, I do not want them to touch their toys anymore. Okay, I do not want them to stimulate their energy after shower. So after shower, I want them to literally sit down, unwind themselves, get in the mood of trying to go to sleep early, right? So at 7 is where I will give them their screen time. Okay, and this will happen for 1 hour. And then after I'm done with praying and everything, I settled my house chore and everything, I will sit down with them, and Maya is going to choose her own bedtime story. And this is where I'm going to have a story time with her, right? Before bedtime. So now the next thing is, what are the good habits you can implement to your child, and when is the chance for him or her to execute these habits into their routines? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. Okay, these activities and routines have already been laid out to you in our previous slides. Okay, the one in the orange are those good habits that I want to implement to her. Okay, make it a habit to her so that she can become independent and more confident that she's able to do all these tasks by herself, okay, without needing me to be around. And I myself do not expect her to do it perfectly, okay, as long as she get the idea that, you know, this is a habit that she needs to have in her daily life. So for example, at 7, she wakes up, okay, and then this is where I can get the chance for her to try to make the bed. Okay, this is the part where I don't expect her to straighten the bed sheets and everything. I only expect her to arrange the pillows nicely. Okay, so that is my definition of making a bed. Okay, so milk time. Okay, I want her to have the habit of returning the milk bottle to the kitchen sink. Okay, instead of like just dumping it at the side of the sofa or dumping it on the table, right? For breakfast, I will usually prepare a clean cloth with water dispenser for them to wipe down the table, okay, after every meals. Okay, so this will happen after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, right? So shower, I will give them the opportunity to choose their own clothes and put on their own outfit of the day. And it doesn't matter if it's not pleasant in our eyes, right? Because that's what they choose. We have to respect that. And because we want them to feel confident in their own choice of clothes, right? Moving on to the structured activities, I want her to learn to keep the toys away. Yes, until now, I'm still struggling to get her to keep her own toys. So, which is why I am still trying to implement the good habits of keeping the toys away for her, right? Then for learning trays, I'm going to ask her to keep the toys, but to the respective tray after news, okay? Because she tends to just dump the toys in a random tray. So I want to teach her to keep on the tray respectively. And then for like lunchtime, again, wiping down the table, toileting, washing hands after news, okay? Nap time, okay, this is where I want her to nap on her own, okay? Because she has the habit of asking me to be there to nap for her, okay? I will only be there for her when she is having her sleep during bedtime, okay? But for nap, I need her to nap on her own. Okay, at 3 p.m., I will have a designated cabinet for them, okay? And inside the cabinet are all full of healthy snacks for them, right? And these cabinet are of low level, so it's easy for Maya to open it up as and when she wants to eat, right? So I have that dedicated cabinet, okay? So during snack time, this is where she can walk over to the cabinet and choose her own favorite snack of the day, okay? For choice of play, again, keeping the toys, and then dinner time, wiping down the table, and then shower, choosing their own PJs, and then before bedtime, I need them to brush their teeth before bed. I want you to do it slowly, okay? Follow their pace, okay? If they can make the bed, okay, that's great. Now let's focus on returning the milk bottle next, okay? You can make the bed and returning the milk, okay? Once they're okay with that, you can jump to wiping the table. You want to take it slow for them, okay? Do not throw all these habits to them and expect them to, okay, you're supposed to do all of this perfectly, right? Don't pressure your child. And then the fifth step is, if your child attends to school, you may want to make gaps in between their schooling time and focus on the activities before and after school. Now, for example, in Maya's weekday routine, okay, it will look something like this. Okay, it's very short and simple, but still you have to sit down and plan and visualize how is it going to happen before and after school. Okay, for example, okay, Maya will usually wake up around 7 and she'll still have her milk time and then have breakfast. For the responsive relationship, I will be covering it in a while. Okay, and for 8 a.m. Is where I am going to prepare for school and commute to school. Okay, and this gap is where it is her schooling time, right? And then by 6 p.m., I'm going to fetch her from school after my work. And then 7 is where we're going to have a dinner together. And then she's going to shower. And then 8 p.m. is where we're going to have a story time and then bedtime. Okay, and this is going to repeat every weekday. Now, the next step is which activities require you to be with them for that one-to-one responsive relationship to happen. Okay, now let's take a look at the weekend schedule again. And the one that is in orange are the ones that is going to have a responsive relationship to occur. So in my weekend schedule for Maya, the responsive relationship that is going to happen between me and her during breakfast time, during shower time, during our outdoor activities, during lunchtime, the choice of play during that family time, okay, dinner time, shower again, and story time. All right, these are the only activities that I am required to sit down with her to have that one-to-one interaction. Okay, our goal here is to carefully choose which are the activities that we can create these quality interactions with them. Okay, we don't want responsive relationship to happen 24 hours. Okay, because it won't be special anymore. And this is how you create a boundary as a working mom. Okay, take it that only this time that you are required to be with your child. If you don't see those responsive relationship in that certain activities, then that is the time where you can do your house chore, you can do your admin works, or you can do your cooking, right? Other than that, these are the activities that you can be with them, right? And always remember, schedule exists for you as a guide. So please don't be too hard on yourself, right? Please don't be too hard on your child. Don't push it too much, right? If things doesn't happen, just give your back a pat. Okay, you've done a good job in planning and you are trying your best to execute it, but things happen for that day. So it's okay, let it rest. Okay, at least you have a guide to fall on to if anything were to happen, right? Now, before we end this session, okay, you are going to read through the lesson slides again, complete the worksheet, and start implementing the routine with your child. We're going to start with setting that routine only when you are around. Okay,